Shaking Tokyo is a 2008 short film directed by Bong Joon-ho, the director you might know from Parasite, Snowpiercer, and other movies. Set in Tokyo, Japan, it follows a nameless protagonist who has isolated himself from society for 10 years. Over the course of the film, a series of events lead him to fundamentally alter his mode of living as he rediscovers a life beyond the confines of his apartment. At the start of the film, our main protagonist dubs himself a hikikomori. The film portrays his life in a manner that conveys the day-to-day experiences of a hikikomori. He lives through endless loops of time, repeating the same routines. The single continuous long take gives the audience the feeling that the narrator's life melts together in an unending cycle of eating, reading, stoning, and so on. The passage of time is ambiguous and basically meaningless to the protagonist. There are frequent close-ups on material possessions, and the narrator's obsessive organization of his stuff, like this. Everything in his house has a sense of control and stillness. You get a sense that the protagonist has fallen into a pattern of safety and stagnation, almost to the point of numbness. The monotony of the protagonist's life is violently disrupted by an encounter with a pizza delivery girl, which coincides with a literal earthquake. This becomes a motif that recurs several times throughout the film. The shaking is a metaphorical upset of the state of mind. The deeper significance of this is that these earthquakes are always triggered during moments of intense emotion. Implicitly, this is due to the connections that the characters have or form with other people. In the film, the first earthquake occurs when the protagonist makes eye contact with a pizza delivery girl, instead of averting his eyes as usual. Having had no eye contact for over 10 years, this provokes a reaction of extreme shock, and simultaneously, the world around him starts shaking. The objects in his house, so carefully organized, are literally knocked askew, symbolizing a reordering of the protagonist's lifestyle. His focus is no longer on his inanimate surroundings, but on the existence of another human being. Whoa. After this incident, the protagonist is motivated to meet the girl again, and gradually breaks free from his fear of the outside world in order to find her. So he orders another pizza. This time, it's not the same delivery girl who comes, but an aggravated delivery guy who barges into the house without asking. He makes an impassioned phone call while spilling water all over the floor. This scene strengthens the link between the display of strong emotion and the motive of shaking. His anger manifests literally as physical instability, representing a different kind of existence from the protagonist. The protagonist still wants to find the girl, so he gets her address from the pizza guy. He takes out his shoes and readies himself to go out for the first time in 10 years. He hesitates for a long time. But he finally does it. Although the world outside is blinding, and there is a sense of panic and agoraphobia, he finds his way to the girl's house. This is when the third earthquake occurs. She tries to hide from him, and his desperation intensifies rapidly. We see all the hermits evacuate onto the streets. Again, it is the power of the desire for human connection that has caused this short-lived escape from the hikikomori lifestyle. Everyone returns to their homes, but as the girl turns away, the protagonist reaches out to her. This act has not only created a physical connection between them, but an emotional one as well. The film ends with the world quaking around the two of them, while they remain sort of stable and focused on each other. There's an idea that our connections to people, especially love, can be a kind of saving grace, that it can move us in a fundamental way. Shaking Tokyo shows us how easy it can be to live in a world of your own, but it also shows us that we need other people to truly feel human and alive. That isolation is a safe and unchallenging, but ultimately meaningless existence. Our bonds with other people are part of what makes life colourful, exciting, and scary, and they have the ability to totally upend the way we see the world. Contemporarily, urbanization has tended to sequester ordinary people into narrow, unfeeling lives. The film spurs you to reach out to people and form genuine, impactful relationships through the power of human connection.